What if the world is on the brink of a divine transformation? A stunning survey conducted by Pew Research reveals a dramatic shift in belief. From America to Africa, millions are convinced that the return of a Savior is near. But why do some nations yearn for redemption more than others? And what does chaos in the world have to do with it? The answers might shock you. The Pew Research Center, a polling organization, conducted a survey in 2006 on the topic of Messianism. We are examining the surveys conducted among Christians in the United States in 2006, 2010, and 2012 by this institute. You can judge for yourself how much the statistical results changed over these 6 years, from 2006 to 2012. In 2006, the first question asked was, do you believe in the second coming of Christ? 79% said yes, 17% said no, and 4% did not provide a clear or definite answer. In the second question, people were asked, do you agree that Christ will return during your lifetime? 20% of American Christians said yes. This means 1/5 of American Christians believe they would witness the return of Christ during their lifetime. 39% said no. 14% said, I don't know. 21% said, no, I don't believe at all in the idea that Christ will return a second time. 6% did not give a clear answer. In the third question, they were asked, do you believe that global conditions will worsen before the return of Christ, like things will fall into chaos? 34% said, yes, things will fall into chaos. 37% said, we don't know how things will turn out in the world. It's unpredictable for us. In the fourth question, they asked, can you influence the return of Christ? 50% of Americans said they cannot have an influence. 23% said they can have an influence. 21% said they do not believe in this matter. The same survey was conducted again 4 years later, in 2010, with minor changes. What has the world gone through in the meantime? In 2007, the New World Order that was supposed to be announced failed. In 2006, Lebanon was attacked. The situation was chaotic. The United States was stuck in Iraq and Afghanistan. When we put these events side by side, we see a series of changes taking place. At that time, the West produced a number of films and documentaries about how the world would end in 2012. The survey was conducted again. The question was, do you believe Christ will return to earth within the next 40 years? In this poll, 48% of American Christians, the same group previously surveyed, said they firmly believe this will happen within the next 40 years. 10% said they do not believe he will return during this period at all, while 28% said he probably will not return within these 40 years. Going back to 2006 in Africa, the Pew Research Center conducted a survey from both Christian and Muslim communities on the continent. In every country, half of Christians believed that the return of Christ will occur during their lifetime. Meaning, in 2006, the belief in the Messiah's return was stronger in Africa than among Americans. Interestingly, 70% of Christians in the Democratic Republic of the Congo said that Christ would return during their lifetime. Similarly, at least half of Muslims in 10 out of 15 Muslim-majority countries believe that the golden age of Islamic rule will be re-established during their lifetime. For example, this belief is prevalent among 70% of the people in Mozambique. In 12 out of the 15 countries studied, around 60% of people in Africa believed in the return of Imam Mahdi. May Allah hasten his reappearance. This carries a very clear meaning. The idea of Messianism, which is belief in a savior, is deeply rooted among people, whether in America or Africa. In 2011 and 2012, the Pew Research Center conducted this survey with 38,000 interviews. Do you believe that Christ will return during your lifetime? In countries with both Christian and Muslim populations, only Christians were asked this question. I'll mention the low percentages. Only 6% of Christians in Kazakhstan said he would return, which is a very low percentage. In Bosnia, it was 11%. In Indonesia, the most populous Muslim country where Christians are a minority, 8% said he will return. Bangladesh, 14%. Jordan, 28%. Christians in Turkey, 65% said he will return in our lifetime. Malaysia, 54%. Christians in Thailand, 51%. Pakistan, 55%. Tunisia 67%, Iraq 64%, Lebanon 52%. This means Tunisia, Iraq, and Turkey had very high statistics. These are countries in the Middle East that are entangled in a series of issues. These issues have a direct impact on the belief of messianism. The same question was asked of Muslims, but instead of the name Christ, the name Imam Mahdi was included in the survey. In Bosnia, it was 14%. Both Christians and Muslims had low percentages. We need to investigate what's happening in Bosnia. Does the concept of a savior even exist there? Is it not in their textbooks? Do their preachers not talk about it? Nearly 70% of Muslims in Turkey say they will see the Imam Mahdi in their lifetime, the majority of whom are Sunni. Of course, the Mahdi, may Allah hasten his reappearance, is not exclusive to Shia or Sunni. They both believe in the return of the Imam Mahdi, a descendant of Imam Ali and Lady Fatima, peace be upon them. In Uzbekistan, 22% hold this belief. In Kyrgyzstan, 17%, and in Kazakhstan, 13%. These countries were under communist rule, and their religious understanding is still not fully developed. They do not properly comprehend religion. Tajikistan, 39%. Indonesia, 23%, meaning a quarter of the society believes this will happen within their lifetime. Bangladesh, 29%. Iraq, 72%, which is a very high percentage. Afghanistan, 83%, which means 83% of Afghans believe they will witness the appearance of Imam Mahdi during their lifetime. Tunisia, 67%. Lebanon, 56%. What conclusion should be drawn from this? The more chaotic the situation becomes, the stronger the belief in the Savior's return grows. Either you realize that you lack an Imam, or God makes you understand that you lack an Imam. This is why, in the end times, war, slaughter, earthquakes, death by disease, and death by war increase. In the end times, all ideologies emerge, but fail to organize humanity on a global scale. Ever notice the mischief at play? They're trying to stop people from preparing for the arrival of Imam Mahdi. To Christians, they portray him as a prince of terror, claiming he'll bring bloodshed if he comes.